We are living in a nightmare. We're living in a Gareth Southgate England nightmare because what we saw against Denmark is absolutely catastrophically bad. And there are going to be people that say, oh, we've got 4 points out of 6. We've scored a couple of goals. We're top of the group. We're in a good position. This England side are bereft of creativity, bereft of confidence, bereft of leadership, on-pitch leadership in the changing room at halftime. And it all stems from a manager who is spineless, who is not quality enough to get incredible performances out of Foden, out of Bellingham, out of Kane. He isn't able to get Declan Rice passing a ball. It all stems from the manager. And in this video, we're going to break down what went wrong for Gareth Southgate and where England can go from here, if we can go anywhere, because every England fan is sat there saying there are some positives from Gareth Southgate. He's a media darling. He's great with the journalists. When push comes to shove, when England are flat, when players aren't coming to the ball, when players are misplacing 5 yard passes, where is the manager to go in there and kick these players up the ass in the changing room? Where is the manager to instill creativity, to instill new ideas? And you're going to sit there and say, oh, all the substitutions, 4 substitutions in about 10 minutes. Conor Gallagher came on, Jarrod Bowen came on, Ollie Watkins came on, Eberechi Eze came on. Fantastic players in their own right. But you're saying we go from game 1 to game 2, no tactical changes when there were critical changes needed, particularly in midfield. We've got a right back playing in midfield in 2 consecutive games. When you've got generational talents in Kobbie Mainoo, Adam Wharton, so many other, even Conor Gallagher can do a job in there. So he goes from game 1 to game 2, and he doesn't change anything, showing a lack of tactical flexibility, showing a lack of belief that his changes can make the difference clearly needed. Yes, we beat Serbia, but they pinned us back in the first game. We looked poor in the second half, so flat. We were clinging on to a 1-0 win against Serbia. So yes, a lot of England fans took a lot of positivity and thought, hang on, this is good, but we can go again next game and see what Trent can do on the ball. He can't do anything on the ball. He's not even a metronome. A couple of long balls that he missed, a couple of short passes he missed. And you think, in a tournament football, look, for Liverpool, you're going to get loads of chances. You can get loads of minutes on the ball to knock it around. You can go again next week in the Champions League, go again next week in the FA Cup semi-final. For England, you got a few touches, and they all matter. And they all matter in tournament football. While Germany have got Joshua Kimmich and Ilkay Gundogan and Jamal Musiala in midfield, all coming in, tucking into midfield and playing beautiful football. We've got a right back in midfield like Phil Neville. We're not that desperate in midfield. If there was no one else, I'd get it. If there's no one else, I'd get it. I get Trippier at left back. I get it because there's no one else. I thought he was decent today. One of the better players. We've got so many midfielders available that are generational young players for their. We've got Kobbie Mainoo just scored a goal in an FA Cup final against Pep Guardiola's Man City. We've got Adam Wharton, who I think is a special player at keeping the ball in midfield. We had less possession than Denmark today, and it looks like I'm moaning. It's a 1-1 draw, and I don't want to be too reactive, but this country are the biggest failures at international football in the history of international football. 1 tournament since 1966. So England fans are just observing what needs to be done for England to get further in the tournament. How am I able to sit here a million miles away from Germany and see clearly that a right back is not good enough in midfield? If Kobbie Mainoo starts in midfield and he makes a terrible mistake, he scores an own goal, and we lose to Slovenia and we don't get out of the group, then I hold my hands up and say, well, at least why is he putting a right back in midfield? I thought he was really poor in the game. We're living in a nightmare where we've got these incredible players they're on the other side of the glass, and Southgate has locked the jar. He's locked the glass away from us. We can't get in. We cannot access these incredible players. It's infuriating to the highest level, like nothing else I've experienced as a football fan. It's crazy. It's not like we're picking Michael Owen instead of Wayne Rooney. It's like we're playing Sol Campbell up front. It's like we're playing David James up front instead of Michael Owen and Wayne Rooney. It's absolutely criminal to the highest level. And going back to what I said about the 4 substitutions, because people say, well, he was brave, he was bold to make 4 substitutions. No, he wasn't. He was absolutely not. He'd run out of money in the casino. He'd run out of poker chips. And he says, F it, I'm going to shove all of them into the middle and see what happens when my dice, when the numbers don't come up for my dice. I'm just going to gamble it all. That's what happened. It's different if he says, right, Eze's my answer. I back Eze 1,000,000%. He's going to come in number 10, knock it around a bit, and we're going to build through Eze and give Eze a lot of responsibility. Instead, he's deferring to all these players that are probably thinking, wow, I'm getting my England debut at a major tournament. This is a massive moment in my career. They're all bunnies and head rabbits. what's the word? Bunnies in headlights. Do you know what I mean? They're getting caught. They're looking around and they're seeing no personal responsibility on the pitch. It's a bit like when he brought on 2 substitutes to take penalties. It's like, go on, lads, you do it. It's not brave. It's callous. It's cowardly to the highest level. Go on, lads. All 4 of you, basically. You know, there was a little break between Gallagher coming on, but Jared Bowen came on, Eze came on, Watkins. Go on, lads, you do it. You sort this mess out that I've created. This England manager, I do not back the idea that he's a brave guy. He bottled making a change to influence the start of the following game. Serbia was a good result. I was massively complimentary of what happened against Serbia. Really was. I thought, Trent, is there a room he could improve? Of course. But Foden had an off game today. Trent had an off game today. It's the same mistakes over and over again. We don't change from game 1 to game 2. We don't get no understanding of Kobe Mainoo can do a great job now. We don't have any understanding of Adam Wharton, Anthony Gordon. You can debate in the comments if these are the right players or not. We can all have a debate. Maybe Conor Gallagher for Chelsea fans. Maybe it's Eze for Palace fans. We can all have a debate. But he's learned nothing further. And we're so far into the tournament now already. We're onto the 3rd game. And we've learned nothing about Adam Wharton, nothing about Kobe Mainoo, nothing about Gordon, nothing. And Luke Shaw has to come in somewhere. We've learned something about Mark Gahey. We'll talk about some of these players as well, of course, in the video. But we've learned a lot about Mark Gahey, how good he is, how sublime he is as a kind of last-ditch centre-back. He's great in the challenge. And I will talk about the positives in the video, but I just have to express, in the final 5 minutes, there's this realization that dawns on you when you're watching this side that they don't believe they can go and beat Denmark in the final 5 minutes. They're not playing for the shirt. They're not playing for the Bobby Moores of the world, Bobby Charltons of the world, Terry Butcher of the world, Paul Ince of the world when he had his head cut. You know, these players that maybe we could question their limited ability, their limited performances. John Terry had limited performances for England. Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard. But these guys cared. Owen Hargreaves, they cared to the highest level. And this England side, I think, were guilty in the final 5 minutes of caring enough about a win. And maybe England go on and win the tournament, but it'll be because of this moment, because of how poor we were, that a load of those players have woken up and thought, hang on, it cannot go this way. And I back England with the experience, the world-class experience, to sit in the changing room and say, we've got to address this going forward. We've got to change. And I'm hoping that Gareth Southgate can find an answer, because it cannot be Trent. If Trent starts next game, I'm never watching England football ever again. It's crazy. He doesn't do enough. He can't receive the ball in the half turn. And people can say, oh, it's anti-Liverpool, anti-this. No, he's just not a natural midfielder. Even someone like Reece James has got more experience in midfield when he played for Wigan Athletic. It's just, it's delusion. It's insanity. We're all in a mental asylum, and Gareth Southgate has got the keys. I'm losing my mind. Why is Trent playing in midfield? We were, and it's not a criticism. If Trent whips the ball in and we draw 1-1 and Harry Kane's got a goal because of Trent, I'm not going to be critical, but he's done absolutely nothing in 2 games. And then we've got less possession than Denmark, who were playing a back 5. So they weren't even matching us up with midfielders, because they had 2 strikers and they had 3 centre-backs. So our midfield, at points, there were 5 of us in midfield, 5 English lads in midfield. Couldn't even knock the ball around. Rice was so poor. He must look to the side of him and think, I've got Trent, who's a right back next to me. He needs the ball a little bit deeper so he can do what he needs to do. I've got Phil Foden on the left. You know, Rice can't play to him because he's not left-footed. He can't play into Phil Foden first time. Got Trippier has to come inside. This side is completely disjointed, completely lacks balance, and it's a catastrophe waiting to happen. It really is. And maybe I'm being nasty and too over the top, but I'm an England fan. England fans have been entitled for the last 60 years for some success. Maybe it's not back-to-back World Cups. Maybe it's not 4 World Cups like Germany have got, 5 like Brazil, but more than this against Denmark. Does this England side want to win anything? They're happy to be on holiday. They're happy to kind of have this pre-Ibiza warm-up. It feels like a pre-Ibiza, pre-O-Beach warm-up for all these lads. They're getting ready to go to Ibiza. And this is it now. This is the final product. This is the tournament that's taken Gareth Southgate 8 years to build up to, with all this kind of feel-good positivity. It's complete rubbish. Let's just talk about the goal. Look, it was superb from Kyle Walker, and there were standouts. It's not 0 out of 10s for all these players. Kyle Walker was fantastic. Stones and Gahey looked really, really comfortable. Trippier as well. Pickford pulls off some great saves. It's Kyle Walker that gets the ball on the outside. from a nice little reverse ball from Saka, I think it is. And then the ball comes in, got a little bit lucky with how Harry Kane finds it on his left foot, and it's a great finish. It's great to see Harry Kane scoring. If you're going to be super critical, it came from a deflection again. So it's like it's build-up play. We're not really creating clean chances, and that would be frustrating. We create these chances, not realizing how almost fortuitous they are, a little bit lucky to get them, and then bang, we as if we're good enough to hold on to it. It's like we're holding on to like lucky coin flips. It's surreal. Denmark get back into the game. 34 minutes from Højlund. It's a great effort, and this is the Trent criticism as well. And is Trent one of the best players in the squad with what he can do with his ball, with the ball at his feet? Yes. He can't press like a midfielder as well. That's completely underrated. Can he knock the ball around side to side? We can debate that. Obviously, I've made it very clear in this video what I think about that. But also, the midfielders have this rhythm. They know when to press. They know when to sit. They know exactly when they can intercept things. There's this rhythm in midfield. It's a fine art. It's not just sitting there and waiting for a ball to come in front of you and just booting it long. It's not even a Harry Kane. It's an instinctual finish. In midfield, it's an art of understanding the rhythm of when to go, when to sit back, who to man mark, who to track, who's running through midfield. And we've got two defensive midfielders. We're meant to be a cautious Gareth-esque side, Gareth Southgate-esque side, and no one presses him. It's surreal. It's absolutely surreal. I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated with how poor it was to let him score from there. Because Denmark deserved probably more than that. You know, they hit the post, I think it was. We hit the post as well. I know that the lad in midfield, Højbjerg, had a couple of chances as well. Maybe should have scored one of them. He kind of curled it away. We didn't deserve to win the game, and we drew the game. Let's just talk about performances, and then I'll wrap up because I need some sort of swift release of agony. Yeah, I do. Jordan Pickford in goal, superb really. He was faced with a lot more than I think people would have thought. He had to face 4 or 5 really great shots from long range. Kyle Walker was superb today. He's the one that makes you think, yeah, these boys, we should be doing better. We should be trying to win this. We should be going for it. That's what makes you feel. He's the one that really stands out. John Stones and Mike Gahey, when they had to defend, they defended very, very well. Let's be completely real. They defended superbly well. But that's about it. Kieran Trippier, not bad today. I feel bad for him almost because he isn't able to express himself. Because he's got, talk about Trent's ability on the ball. It's like Kieran Trippier's got a great delivery as well. And he's unable to kind of utilize his right foot in the same way. Declan Rice and Trent, it doesn't work. You can't drop Rice. He's fantastic. But we're hindering Phil Foden. We're hindering Declan Rice. We're hindering Jude Bellingham. We're hindering everyone. Even Saka with the distribution he's getting because of Trent in midfield. These are the facts. Saka right wing, he was tenacious. He works hard. He's got good quality. I just don't see how he could have had a better performance in this England side. He was good. What can you say? Jude Bellingham went missing, didn't he, in large parts of the game? He got swallowed up in the game. It's not necessarily his fault. But at points, then it makes you remember what he can do when he sits deep, when he plays balls around the corner for Ollie Watkins, who looked lively when he came on for sure. We'll talk about the substitutes in a minute. But Jude Bellingham playing those balls around the corner, absolutely superb. When he's deeper, so it makes you think, why not build a base of Bellingham, Rice, and then pat the midfield, Gallagher as well. Just have more of an energetic, present midfield. Phil Foden had a really poor game today. I know he had a couple of strikes on goal. The first one where he cuts inside, then he shifts it onto his left foot, and then bang, he scored. He knew he scores for City, I tell you now. And he goes to Rose Ed, and it's frustrating because he's such a talented player. I think time is up really for him and Trent in this 11 as long as we've got the manager that we have in Gareth Southgate. And then Harry Kane, who I was massively complimentary of how he dropped deep against Serbia, because it was more of a rugged, aggressive dropping deep of trying to win the ball high at the pitch, get free kicks. And this version of Harry Kane was him trying to link up play from left back. Again, I'm living in a mental asylum. I'm living in Looney Tunes. It's Alice in Wonderland stuff. He's picking up the ball 80 yards away from the goal at left back, and then he misplaces a pass into the middle of nearly the middle of the box for England, and Denmark could have scored unless they did score from that chance. I hope they didn't, but they certainly should have, really. So you're just like, what world are we living in? Why is it Harry Kane is playing his game that he plays at Bayern? He scored a load of goals, fantastic. Phil Foden's playing his game. Jude Bellingham's playing his game. Trent's playing the game he wants, which is long balls over the top. They're all playing their own games. No one's playing the Southgate game. I think they go on the pitch and you think, oh, he's nice, he's our mate. Where's the leadership? Who's the captain of the ship? No one. We are rudderless. We are leaderless. We have no leadership, and it's so poor. It's so flat. And then I feel bad for the substitutions. Conor Gallagher came on. I did enjoy that one on some level. I didn't enjoy the game. But when he can get the ball here and there and win challenges and be aggressive, it naturally takes your side up the pitch 5-10 yards, and that allowed. I think it was Phil Foden that got a chance because of that. I think, or at least Ollie Watkins. But Ollie Watkins had that great chance. He was thrown goal, couldn't quite finish it, and he looked lively, and I like the fact he was running in behind, and it was a great debut performance for him at international football, tournament football at least. Jared Bowen didn't do enough today, didn't have enough minutes. Same with Eze. This is why I say it's not brave. It's brave if you start Bowen, if you trust him. It's brave if you start Palmer, who's not featured a minute yet, or Gordon, who's not featured a minute yet, or what about Adam Wharton, who's not featured a minute yet. Like, that's brave when you rotate these players in with you can get the best out of them at the start of the game, not holding on for dear life for what you've got, which is a lucky goal against Denmark. Denmark were better than us. When Denmark were doing their team huddle and fist pumping, believing that they can win the game against Serbia, which I think they absolutely can, they believe that they've got even a sniff of coming top. If we play like that against Slovenia, we are going to be in a world of pain. I think this England side are really, really low on confidence, and it's all because of Gareth Southgate. And I'll hold my hands up. If he changes things and he adapts and he tries to be ambitious in the third game, then fair enough. I don't see it, and I've seen it for 8 years. It's not like I'm giving him his third game and I'm slagging him off. It's like I've seen it for 8 years. This England side is the identity of who Gareth Southgate was as a manager. Lacking in ambition, cautious, not world class, lacking in creativity, missed big penalties in his career. Biggest moment of his career, he bottled the penalty in '96. These are harsh things to say, but this is an England side. Brazilian fans demand, Ronaldinho demands of Brazil. Real Madrid fans demand of Real Madrid. And England fans with this crop of players, not in 2012 with Andy Carroll up front, this crop of players have to be doing better, period.